Hey team, Blake here with Crushing Defeat Media. Welcome to another video. I am super pumped to give you a tour of my new large house in the Empyreum. Finally got one via the lottery by switching servers. The only way to do it was to go to the North American server, the new one. So I am now on Seraph. And super excited to show you, I've got the first draft of the house done. It's the one you can see on top of the hill there. So let's go visit, take a look, and see what we can see. Hopefully get some ideas for housing from it. But here we go. I love this new gate housing item, and what's nice is they do let you bring it right up to the edge, so it looks like a proper gate, and it is dyeable, which is very cool. Get off the bike here, which comes from Island Sanctuary. It's very tough to get, takes a very long time, but is one of my favorite mounts for sure right now. I wanted to show this off at night because I think that lighting is super important as you're working on your housing. So I've got some Nathic, what is this called? Nathic lamp trees glitched into some of the pine trees there to create that lighting. I've got the starlight tree there to celebrate starlight, the snowdrift, and the presents. Those are all unfortunately Mog Station items, but it is what it is. And then the benches there, the snowy brick benches. It's actually called the Snowy Red Brick Bench. You can get those from the housing merchant. In fact, I'll try to cover a few of those housing items that you can buy more easily than you would think off the market board. You'll notice the damaged Ishgardian wall there, and I've got a miniature Heaven on High glitched into it, and I'll show you why that is in just a minute. And then again, for lighting's sake, I put the mini aetheryte inside of there to cast that blue glow. The flowers on these partitions as well are dyeable, which is cool. Creates a nice little entryway, I thought. I've got some rounded shrubs up front with sea stone braziers glitched into them. And I thought that created a nice cool green cast there in the entryway. And then over here, this is a little bit of a hodgepodge, but there's a Lakeland elf tree with a pond at the bottom and then the tree house glitched into it with another Nathic light to create kind of a fuller purple and green tree. It's a little funky, but I like it. And then this housing item is pretty cool. I like how it's lit up all on its own. It's a really cool outdoor hot tub. You don't have to use multiple slots. And it is the Alpine Open Air Bath. I love the lion right there too. The lion fountain. So a really cool housing item. A lot of people used to put together multiple items to create the same type of effect. And now there's this bath that just does it all for you. I don't do a lot of the gardening, but Mirella does. Around the side here, I've just got the chocobo hang out. And then another thing that's great about the Forge's walls is you get extra housing space. You get this balcony that you can actually go up to and enjoy. And it gives you a little bit of a view of what's going on around you. But just super cool that you get this extra housing space by using the Forge's walls. But the reason I have the Heaven on High and the damaged walls here is because you can't get up to that balcony unless you create a way to do it. This ladder here, it does not work. You cannot go up that ladder. So you have to create a jump puzzle. Oh, and it's just getting to the sunrise, so that's cool. All right, so let's see if we can make this in one go without embarrassing myself. Oop, come on. And there we go, and there we go. Yeah, I made it. So I can jump over to here, and I can get onto this balcony. And the reason I use the damaged walls is because the Heaven on High standing out there, it didn't really match the aesthetic very well. but I found that glitching in the damaged walls, it made it match a little bit better. So now I can get up and get to all of these areas of my forge, but, and I'll have to go back around to show this, but it also allows me to get to the roof, and enjoy some amazing views of my ward here. So if you stop by, see if you can knock out that jump puzzle I've set up for you and make it all the way to the top here, so you can see the entire ward that I lord over in the Empyreum. I do wish this was on the other side so that peak didn't block the wall. But I also have to brag a little bit. I convinced the housing owner over there by the hot springs to use the forge's walls as well, so we both kind of match, which is cool. There's this back balcony on these walls that's pretty nice as well. You know, they set these things up, it's like they wanted you to do something to be able to get up here. Now let's see if I can make it. And then this is a pretty good spot too to check out your housing zone. So team, that is the outside of the house. Let's go ahead and head inside and see what we can see. All right, welcome to the inside of Hill House, which is what I've decided to name it. Actually, it's Hill House 2 because the other house was the original Hill House. As you can see in the display area, I've got more starlight stuff with some of the indirect lighting. I love that indirect lighting. You can get the kind that go on the floor, on the walls, or on a stand. And I was so excited about the indirect lighting that I went out and I bought a ton of them. And then when I went to use them, I realized you can only have 2 in your entire house. So that was kind of a bummer. So hopefully you don't make the same mistake I did. But I used these gold leaf flooring here, and I just thought this projection module fit right in. It looks like it belongs there, like it's an inlayment. Pretty cool effect. And the thing I like about the projection module is it turns itself off. So you turn it on, it goes for a little bit, and then it shuts itself off, which is pretty cool. I spent the big dollars on the crafting items to make the Savage Gordian shelf here, or Savage Gordian Bureau, and have it do all the sparkly lightning fun stuff. And then I've got just the regular Gordian chair there. Thought that fit pretty well in the entryway. This is just a Ishgardian display stand with a globe that a carpenter can make on top of it. But one thing you'll notice, probably the most popular housing item right now are these marble partitions. And one recommendation I would make is if you're going to use them, offset them a little bit, and it creates a nice little bit of dimension, 3D dimension to it. I think that turns out pretty well. And then you can see I dyed the part that sticks out just to add a bit of color. And then if you look through, you'll notice I doubled the walls up so that 1, you could make them different colors on either side, or 2, you kind of create these nice little hallways by having 2 of them there. And it allows you to have both sides kind of stick forward and give you that dimension, which I like. Over here, you've got the mini gold saucer. I've even got the mini gold saucer housing item. And you'll notice I have it sticking up on a dance pole with a dwarven floor lamp at the bottom. And the reason I did that is because I noticed when you first walked in the house, when the mini gold saucer was on the floor, it just looked like a mess over there with all the lighting and the colors and stuff, and then the message book and all that in front of it. It just looked too clustered. So I decided to float it up, put it on the dance pole, and that way you can see what each of the items over there is. Here's where you register to get into the mini gold saucer here at Hill House. Here's the message book as well. My favorite housing item right now, it's a simple one, are those dwarven floor lamps. And the reason is you can use them to light pretty much anything. And they come from the dwarf tribal quests. and you have to use the dwarven, you know, nuts or whatever it is to buy them. So if you haven't done those tribe quests, I would highly recommend it because it's a really useful housing item. I have a few of them under the messaging book here to light it up from below. You can kind of see some of the green sticking out there. But what it does is it gives the message book a nice glow. I don't know if you've ever experienced this where you go into someone's house and you can't find the message book because it's kind of hidden. And I think it helps it stand out quite a bit. Here you've got the tabletop orchestrion and an NPC here with her list of folks who have registered to come and visit the mini gold saucer. And you get there by going through this entry here. You've got one of the new Phasmascapes. Please make sure you get those from the housing merchant and that you don't buy them off the market board because people have been buying them from the housing merchant and selling them for double, quadruple, tenfold on the market board to people who aren't aware that you can get them right from the housing merchant. Huge dance floor here, wooden dance floor with a dance pole. And then I just liked how this light, this lantern made it look like dance floor lighting, which is pretty cool. And then you've got a bunch of gold saucer games here to play here at the mini gold saucer at Hill House. I like Out on a Limb. Personally, it's my favorite game to play. I'm not sure, to be honest, if anyone who comes into the house can play these games. So if anyone does stop by, I probably should know that, but let me know if you can play these games or not, or if it's someone who has to have access to the housing. Like, I know Mirla can play them, but she has access to the house, so I don't know if I hope anyone can play them. Otherwise, it's not near as cool. We head over here, you've got summoning bells right by the door to make it easy, coat rack, simple stuff. I also use these rounded marble partitions so that those walls didn't block part of the window. Because if I made it go straight, it looked funky because it cut off that window. So the solution I found was to use the rounded bits and allows the whole window to be seen, which I thought worked out pretty well. Here's the store. It's an Ul'dah-based store. So you've got Raoban and Namino there, Nanamo, represented on their paintings on the wall, and more Ul'dah stuff. That's my grand company, so I decided to make it a Ul'dah-based store. A few of the items here that I would mention. This is a chocobo table from PvP. So if you have wolf marks to spare, that's a cool item to get. Nice little seating area for people waiting to get helped at the store. And then this huge rug underneath. Pretty cool housing item. And if you've got a medium or a large house, really it's the only rug that works to fill up the space. Then you've got the counter here. I've got a list. The merchant counter here is called a guild levy counter. And then the bookshelves behind it, it's actually a Scholasticate bookshelf. Actually, I think that's Scholasticate bookshelf. Those are the ones on the outside. And then they're just bunched together with two merchant shelves in the middle to kind of create this long merchant area, showcasing all the different things selling here at the Hill House store. You've got Namazu NPCs. These are housing merchants and menders and all that I use regularly. And I've got them floated up onto some small tables there so that they're more at eye height. You can float your NPC helpers just like you can float anything else in the game. I've got a glitch video. If you need to know how to do that, you just type housing glitches into the YouTube search and it'll probably be the first or second one that comes up. But they float just like anything else. Where it gets a little tricky is when you exit the menu, it'll look like they drop back down. You just have to leave your house and come back in. You notice they'll pop right back up for you. Here's the customer. She is always here. She's a regular. In fact, I don't think I've been in the house and have that customer not be here. So she's a good customer though. She's not a problem. So I'm glad she's here. All right, let's move on. Let's go downstairs next. I love fishing. It would not be one of my houses without an aquarium wall. I love this aquarium wall. Again, if you want to build one similar, I've got a video. Just type in Final Fantasy XIV aquarium wall and the YouTube search should come up. I spent a long dollar on this housing item here in between the chairs because I just thought it was so cool. That's called the diagnostics module. I just thought it fit so well in the middle of the seating area there that I had to spend the millions of gil that it cost to buy that thing. And then again, just a bunch of different aquariums with some of the fish that I really like right now. This is the Divine chandelier, if anyone's interested in that. That one, if you buy it on the market board, do a little bit of shopping because it can range wildly in price. I've seen people spend a ton of money on it, and I've seen people get them very reasonably, so do a little bit of shopping if you're going to get that one. I love these new Enigma partitions with all the gears and the pipes, and what's cool is you can make them look different based on how far you push them into the wall. So I've used this for a little bit of role play with my aquarium. This side is the filter. It's the filter system for the aquarium. So the gears and all that and all the pipes on the other walls, that's filtering the water for the aquariums. And on this side, where I've got the Crystarium stove glitched in the bottom, that's the heater for the aquarium. So a little bit of role playing with some of these housing items, and I just thought that worked out perfect. Where you've got the filtration system, which looks to be working just great. I don't know, those dials are bouncing back and forth a little bit into the red. That's a little scary, but overall the system works great. And you've got the heater over here. And then on the shelf, back shelf, I think this is called, you've got all the food and chemicals and things needed to maintain the aquarium. And then if you visit, here's a ladder that you can jump onto to just get a little bit better view of the top aquariums in the wall. You've probably already noticed that I did not use this entire space. You really have a couple of choices when you're at a medium or a large house. You can either cut off some of the space. In fact, some people cut off entire floors to be able to pack more items into a smaller space and have it look more full, or you can have it be more sparse. I tried to be in the middle here. This is the only part of the house that I actually cut off, was half of the basement, because I'm in a mansion. I wanted it to feel big, but I totally understand that some people, they'll make an amazing single floor house in a mansion and have the mansion just for the item count, not care so much about the size of it. But I wanted the size. But I get both ways of doing the house. The only thing that I've hid back here, I couldn't find a place where I like to put the armoire or the unending journey, so I hid them back here. So if I want to access the armoire or see some old cutscene, stuff like that, I've got that hidden back here. And then the only other thing you can see is, here's where I floated the dance pole up through the floor to hold up that mini gold saucer that you saw upstairs. That one there is a bear to float. That little base at the bottom, that is your hitbox as you go to float that. So if you go to float a dance pole, just know there's not a lot of room there to float that. No, here's some of the secret sauce on how the aquarium wall is built. One change I did make with this iteration, I used these lighted lofts because I really liked how it created more light in the aquarium to use those. So I thought that turned out pretty good. All right, let's continue the tour. So as we head upstairs, I love this piano housing item. I thought it turned out really good. I used a lot of Snow White dye here in this room, and that is the Manor harpsichord. So if you look up piano, it's not actually going to come up. Got the planer table here. with some, I think these are Glade floor lamps glitched in just to add a little bit of interest, with the chairs all around. And then one of my other favorite housing items right now are these clocks. This is an amazing, all done Snow White. That is the long case chronometer. So if you look up grandfather clock, it's not going to come up. But if you look up long case chronometer, you'll find it. Really, really cool housing item. That's a carpenter housing item. I made those. And then over here, one of my other favorite newer housing items are these slat partitions. Pretty easy to make. The only problem is in order to get something this wide, you have to use 3 of them. So that's 3 in your item count. But what I love about this is it allows you to see through. So you keep the space. You see a big open room, but there's still separation there. Because I wanted to have a little kitchen in here. But I didn't want to just have a little kitchen kind of just in the middle of the floor. So I thought this was a really cool way to create separation between the kitchen and kind of the dining table, I guess. Another tip I'd give you for housing, one of the things you can get from the housing merchants are ashtrays. And it's like a cigar in an ashtray. They're super cheap, but what's cool about them is they create a little bit of smoke. So if you glitch them into something, you can make anything you want smoke. So it's like the tea pot there, or coffee pot, is getting hot and it's starting to smoke a little bit. It's a cool role play effect. These are red brick, what's this called? Red brick counter. Good grief, that's simple. That's 2 red brick counters just mashed together to create an island. Then you've got some various food items, fruit, honey pot, one of my favorite housing items, and then some Starlight cake for the season out ready to be served to any guests that visit the house. So that is the dining and entertainment space with the harpsichord and the kitchen and the big table. This area here, I wanted to do something with this because a lot of houses I go into, this is empty. It's just kind of wasted space. So I brought a little bit of outdoors, indoors here in this space. You've got some dome and dogwoods. Those are the trees on the side. You've got some of the fool's thresholds, which are the windows. You've got some of the Pisa hanging chairs there. And then the item in the middle that's lit up is called the Great Wood Planter, and that is bicolor gemstones from the Vera area, from the Rabbits area. So if you want that, you can either get it off the market board, or if you've got all of the fates done in that area, you can purchase that. And then you've got the indoor pond as well, just to kind of create that outdoor space indoor. And then another housing item, this you can get from housing merchants. Again, please don't buy it off the market board, are these slanted skylights. Really cool housing item. So it's a nice, bright, sunny area inside the house because I usually have the lighting pretty low. So it creates a bright space. If I go over here, this is where you've got the master suite or primary suite, whichever you want to say. And it wouldn't be a proper house without a widescreen TV. That's 2 manor fireplaces turned around and dyed jet black. And then you've got one of the Moonfire Fair posters on there. That same TV show is on all the time. And then I used a different counter, and I put this down as a note as well. I used the manor cupboard for the TV. I thought that just fit really, really well. So what's cool about using the fireplace for the TV is it creates that backlight. So it looks like it's a lit TV. And then the manor cupboard, I just thought fit that really well for the television. Over here, there's some stained glass glitched into some of the marble arched partitions. It's actually placed onto a rectangular partition behind it to get it to sit into the marble arched partition correctly. So if you want it to look like that and you're finding it's not glitching into it correctly, it's because you've got to put something behind it. So a stage panel would work. but I would recommend using just the rectangular partition, and that's what the stained glass sticks to. So if that's something, an effect you want to do. I've got some of the curved marble partitions here. I just thought it kind of created some interest as you come around into the room. And also I was having trouble getting the marble partitions to go to the door without overlapping to where you get that weird effect. So it served kind of a dual purpose. And then above the door, just to finish off the walls, that is a marble partition that I floated just above the doorway there. You've got some Hingen sideboards here, a bunch of them around the, is that the Oasis or the Glade canopy bed? That's the Oasis canopy bed to create kind of this modern bed. It's just a bunch of Hingen sideboards that I've dyed and just placed very strategically around to create that modern bed frame with some orange trees. I love that new alarm clock, by the way. Looks way better than the old style ones. Then you've got an extra large angler's canvas here with Gigant Shark on it. Gigant Shark's been a very important fish to me in Final Fantasy XIV. If you're a fan of the channel or you've been watching for a while, you'll know that. So I definitely had to have Gigant Shark represented here in the house. And then you'll notice a bunch of bookshelves on the back wall here, and then one of them holds a secret. I love these trick bookshelves that are actually doors. And then you've got a bathroom. So dual showers here, more dwarven floor lamps glitched into the wall to create some lighting. I also have just the showers sticking out of the wall a little bit to look kind of like ways to turn on the shower, I guess. This is another one of my favorite newer housing items, and this is called the Industrial Wall Pipes. This is the one I got fooled on. So I actually bought this off the market board because I thought there's no way. That's got to be a housing item that someone has to make. Nope. You can buy it super cheap from the housing merchant. So please don't make the mistake I did. Research your items first. Hopefully this video will help you a little bit with some of them, but that's one you can get from the housing merchant and not have to pay a ton on the market board. I've got Hildebrand represented here. I do like the Hildebrand adventures. I know some people don't, but I find them pretty funny for the most part. So I thought I would include him. I've just got a carbuncle bathtub here with a Riviera wall shelf with a sink glitched into it. And again, dwarven lighting, floor lamp on the bottom here just to create that underglow. Isn't that a cool effect? So those lights, if you don't have access to those lights, that's something I would definitely get. Some towels, those are a PvP item. Again, you get that from Wolfmarks. Added a brick half wall, some more of the wall pipes. And then, just to show that I could do kind of some of the designer house stuff, I did float some of the wood flooring up into the ceiling to create a wood floor with wood beams. Oops, sorry, that was probably dizzying. In the house, in the bathroom here, just to showcase that I could do all that stuff. So that turned out pretty good, I thought. And then there's another door here where I can get back into the house. And team, that is it. That is my large Empyreum mansion draft 1. I hope you enjoyed it. It was awesome to go through it with you. More housing tours coming. If you've made it this far into the video and you've got a house you would like me to tour, I am planning on doing more tours again. So you can leave it in the comments or you can leave it in my message book here at the house. I will have the information about where it's at up right now on the screen. And the nice thing is now that there's data center travel, if you are in the North American area, then I can come visit your data center, even if you're on a different data center than I am. So that's been a huge win, huge quality of life improvement for Final Fantasy players. So let me know if you want me to do a tour of your place. I'll try to get to a few as quick as I can. Thank you so much for watching the video, and we will see you in the next one. Thanks, team. Have a great one. Bye-bye.
Crushing Defeat Media.